Hi there, welcome to my views and news. Thanks for joining this live chat session. Three news stories for you in this live chat. First one is from Ethiopia, where PM Abiy spoke about reconciliation, about forgiveness. Secondly, an emergency meeting underway in Mogadishu these minutes. Thirdly, TPLF is complaining that trust is eroding between the TPLF and federal government. The statement came after the conclusion of talks held in Addis Ababa, attended by TPLF, TDF, federal government representatives, African and European, American diplomats. Let me welcome the participants who have joined the live chat so far. Klaus New, as always, is the first one. Yini Musica, a member too, second one who commented. Warm welcome to Yini Musica. Ababich Hello says hi, brother. How are you, Ababich? Alex Zio says hi. Kaise Hayan says ASC Sajid. Does it mean Assalamu alaikum? Adib says, hi, Sajid, hope you're fine. Yes, I am fine. How are you, Adib? Isaac Ibrahim, greetings, Brother Sajid, he says. My life says hi. Tamine Adugna says, hello. Burji Suyama, greetings to you, he says. Jamal Yahya says, hi. Sariye Ma Nuskame. Keep it short or timestamp each subject. Difficult to put timestamps on live chats. Timestamps can only be placed after an hour of the live chat. Mere Tiab says, good to see you, Sajid. Korko Deng, PM Abiy has gone mad. Thousands of people have died and still calling for peace and forgiveness. Alam Gizao, second member who joined today. How are you, Alam? WG, hello Sajid, how is the fasting going on? Yes, so far so good. Today was the third day of fasting, so no problem so far. 30-day fasting. Lisa Redmond says, peace. My life, too little, too late. Reconciliation after a bloodshed does not work. What did he mean when he talked about reconciliation? I'll explain that. Mayabel Siga is good to see you, he says. Tivolde Hadira, salute, he says. Mere Tiab, yes, I am much better now. Bashe says, hi. Fox, how are you feeling? I'm feeling much better, Fox. Drum says, hi. Abdul Qadir says, Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam, Abdul Qadir. Korkor says, I think Ramadan treating you well. Well, by the way, I've been fasting for decades. And I think when you fast, so help comes for whom you are fasting. You fast to please your Creator, the Almighty. So I think the support, the strength to go on is given by the one for whom you're fasting. That is why fasting always becomes easy if it's for Allah. Ahmad Abdul Razak says, hello. Idris Tahiro, how's Ramadan? It's fine, it's going fine. Angesham says, hi, Mr. Sajid. I called you Mr. PFDJ yesterday because I felt that you are not speaking enough about the hellish life of minority people. Well, Uh, uh, Pro-Eritrean people call me Brigade Hamido, TPLF, TDF. You're calling me PFDG. How is Ramadan going? Abdul Qadir says. Ahmad Abdul Razak. Liban says Ramadan Kareem. Ben, hi, friend from Addis told me about you and followed for months. You are by far the most unbiased reporter. Thank you, Ben. Jini, a lot to talk about today. Yeah, one name in Amharic, a free society name. Kidist Gebrselassie says Shalom. Samuel Faleke, Idris, Mojo, Meretiab, Ahmed Abdul Razak, Ahmed Jama. Well, let me begin with just a roundup of the three topics. Uh, yeah, I gave you the roundup of the three topics a few minutes ago. PM Abiy spoke about forgiveness in connection with fasting. Both Muslims, Orthodox Christians are fasting these days. PM Abiy spoke last night and he called for mercy, for reconciliation, for forgiveness. In a particular context, he spoke about that. He talked about reconciliation, forgiveness, mercy, because he was going to release some high profile prisoners, which happened today. That is why he talked about mercy and forgiveness yesterday. Three top figures released from prison today reportedly. One's immunity has been revoked, but three others have been released. First one is from the Amhara region. Dasalenchani is a member of parliament, top leader of NAMA, National Movement of Amharas, arrested around a month ago. He and Christian Tadali are two top NAMA MPs, very critical of the Prime Minister. Both were arrested. Tadali was arrested around 7 months ago. He's still in prison, and today his immunity was revoked by House of People's Representatives. But Dasalin Chani was released today. Dasalin is from Meravi. A few weeks ago, when people were killed in Meravi in house-to-house search operation by military, after that, Dasalin was arrested. But it seems the government does not want to press charges against him. That is why he has been released reportedly. Secondly, a man from Tagarai, a major general, I think. His name is Infedagno. Infe has been in prison for several years. PM Abiy put him in prison. He worked as head of METEC, Metal and Engineering Corporation of Ethiopia. This organization is linked, it's affiliated with Ethiopian military too. And Kinfe was charged with irregularities, with corruption, has been in prison for several years. He's from Tegara, he's a Tegarian. He has also been released reportedly. Thirdly, Abdi Ile. Abdi Ile is Somali region's former president. I think it was 2018 when he was arrested. After PM Abiy's visit of the Somali region, when an assassination attempt was made on the life of the Prime Minister of Ethiopia, unrest started in Somali regions. Government forces tried to crush dissent. Several were killed. And after that, Abdele was arrested. The man worked in coordination with EPRDF for years. Abdele has also been released from the Somali region. What will he do? Will he give a tough time to Mustafa Omar? Is it a good deal for Mustafa Omar? Obviously not. But Mustafa is from PP. Abdi Ile isn't a PP leader. So these are three top figures who have been released reportedly. This is what Abiy meant. Cody Missile says, Brother Sajid, we know you have an Oromo wife. Oh my God. How can I have an Oromo wife? I started covering Ethiopia. I familiarized with Ethiopia just 3 years ago. So how can I have someone as a wife from Ethiopia? I got married in 2010, 14 years ago. Are you Muslim or Christian? Ismail says, I'm Muslim. Kiddist, important observation. He says, he or she, Kiddist is male or female name. There were a number of fasting seasons in the last 6 years, but he's freeing the prisoners because he thinks he's in control now. Maybe you're right. Yes, there has been bigger occasions, religious, national, but prisoners were not released. Maybe he now believes, but still he's very selective. Did not release Johannes Boyalo, did not release Christian Tadale. Today, Tadale's immunity was revoked. He's releasing those men, maybe who are irrelevant. I mean, Kenfe is irrelevant now. Abdile is not very relevant. Dasalin Chani is relevant, but there was no material to file charges against Dasalin. Though anyone can be arrested, charges can be made up as well. Yemesgan joined who says, I'm going to have my own YouTube channel. It will be called the Mamelash Media. Samuel says the seventh king either believes he is in control or under immense pressure. Well, in January 2022, I think, he released some very top figures from prison. Jawar was released, Bakle Garba, Hamza Burana was released, Sabbat Naga was released, and some other TPLF leaders too. And back then it was being said that maybe it was the result of a deal. Jawar, people were speculating what Jawar would do. But Jawar could not do anything. He could not rally public support to launch an anti-government movement. Sabbat Naga went to the US. Even the release of those top men could not pose a problem for the Prime Minister. Abdile, Confedagno, and Dasalenciani's release cannot pose any challenge to the Prime Minister of Ethiopia, his government. He's in control. That is what I've been saying, that he's in control. His party, under his thumb, you can say. Yusuf Kabade says, hello Sajid, is Confedagno released? Well, I heard these three names. When I began the live chat, Abdullah had been released. That is what I learned. Dasalin had been released too, and Ken Fay was going to be released reportedly. So I think by now he might have been released. Alim, I don't agree with you that Abi is in panic. He's not panicking. He seems he's in control. Whether he's in control or not, that can be debated, but he believes he's in control. Ali Raj joined to Engeshom says, Engeshom, with all his evil actions, Abiy is releasing some of his rivals, but we have people in Eritrea who were jailed for more than 20, 30 years in Eritrea and not attended any courts at all. Yes, you're right. Tensa Agide joined too. Yes, in Eritrea, people were imprisoned 2 decades ago. Still they're in prison. No one knows what are charged against them, in which condition they're being kept. Hikim Tafira, thanks for joining. Kaya says Christian won't be released because he asked Abiy to resign. I think Abiy gets personal with people. He arrested Tadendia because Tadendia leveled direct allegations against the Prime Minister. He arrested Christian Tredale because Christian Tredale asked the Prime Minister to resign at a Parliament session. So yes, he gets personal. Yemasgan is going to start his YouTube channel. Do send me the link once it's working. Michael Tissema says hi. Tol Abre says Eritrea is peace. Eritrea is peaceful, but is it peace of a graveyard or peace of a peaceful, cohesive, open, democratic society? This is the question. There is peace in graveyard as well. There is peace in a society with all its social activities ongoing, but peace, cohesion, harmony, respect for rights of each other. I heard a lot of people free today. Is that true? Tensai says, yes, you're right. I only told you the names of three main people, three main figures. But other prisoners are going to be released as well. But let me find the details. Who are going to be released? Any major releases in Oromia, in Amhara, because we know that tens of thousands are in prisons in both regions. And Tigania speaking ENDF members also in prison. So gradually we'll be able to get details and share with you the entire picture. So far, list of three major figures confirmed. Birhan says, how is Ramadan? Ramadan is wonderful. Muhammad Yusuf says, Assalamu alaikum. Alex M. Alex Mack says, if the government does not govern by law, releasing criminals or arresting innocents, its days are numbered. Now, second news story, viewers, which is from Somalia. And in the end, we'll talk about TPLF, federal government relations. Somalia, where an emergency meeting is underway these minutes. Hassan Sheikh, the president, is chairing the meeting reportedly. The meeting has been called after new offensives launched by Al Shabaab. Hassan Sheikh, the president, when he took office in 2022, said that he would clear Somalia. Al Shabaab would be destroyed. And after he took office, we saw his focus on the military operation against Al Shabaab, federal forces, regional forces, neighboring countries' forces, all tried to crush Al Shabaab. And yes, his government secured some gains, territorial gains. Al Shabaab was pushed out of several towns and cities. But within the last 1 week, Al Shabaab has taken back 5 towns in 2 regional states. In Gulmudug and in Gulgudud, 5 towns have been retaken by Al Shabaab fighters in the last 4 to 5 days. And there was an attack on a military base of Somalia's military in Middle Shabelle, close to Mogadishu. Last night, Al Shabaab released a video of this attack. So that is why an emergency meeting has been called by Hassan Sheikh, the president of Somalia, in Mogadishu. Hassan Sheikh obviously does not want the progress which has been made in the fight against Al Shabaab to be wasted. He wants to remain focused. And for that, by the way, he needs support of the regional states of Somalia and Somalia's neighboring countries. He shouldn't be diverted. But some decisions which have been made by the president, which are going to be made by the president, are leading to controversies in Somalia. He is proposing constitutional amendments leading to the creation of a two-party system in Somalia. Farmajo is back in Somalia. He is opposing these constitutional amendments. Then Somalia not on good terms with Ethiopia too. Somalia has signed a deal with Turkey, defense deal, but its contents have not been made public. There is uncertainty. How will Somalia, Ethiopia tension be resolved? No one knows. There is uncertainty. This uncertainty is now Al Shabaab is taking advantage of this uncertainty, more recruitments and more offensives. And by the way, if the tension between Ethiopia and Somalia turns into an armed confrontation, what will Somalia do? How will it fight on both fronts against Ethiopia, against Al Shabaab? It cannot fight on both fronts. It will have to fight on one front only, and that would be maybe Ethiopia. Al Shabaab then would just sweep across Somalia. Somalia cannot afford a war against any neighboring country. That is why it must remain focused to complete its objectives regarding military operation against Al Shabaab. Otherwise, Al Shabaab would take back more territories. I did a video this morning, two videos rather. I told you about fighting in Beledweyne, which is in Heran Zone, Hirshabelle regional state of Somalia. Fighting between Hirshabelle regional forces and local militia and local forces of Heran Zone. Several killed there. Hirshabelle regional forces have retreated from Beledweyne. Local militia, local forces have taken control of Beledweyne. So this is what is happening in Somalia. While Somalia is threatening to stop Ethiopia from setting foot in Somali land. Samson says, what do you think about the future status of the so-called contested area? Because I don't see Tigray will ever abandon this issue. Yeah, Tigray will not abandon this issue. I agree with that. But I think the first and the most pressing issue for Tigray now is that Tigray wants restoration of TPLF as a political party. It does not want Prosperity Party to gain a foothold in Tigray. It wants the start of return of IDPs. Obviously, it wants election too. Before that, it wants termination of status of Raya Volkai. This issue is a thorny issue. It's not easy to be resolved. There are several players to this, several parties to this conflict. But you're right that Tigray will not abandon this issue. And same is the case with Amhara as well. They say Volkai is Amhara. They're not abandoning either. Goracha says forgiveness may correct people's character. But forgiveness shouldn't be selective, I think. When you forgive people, it should be genuine, sincere, true forgiveness, not just to make a few quarters happy. Sariya says, is Abiy Ahmed watching this live session? I don't think that Abiy would be free to watch these live chats. But I do know that government people watch me. I am contacted by them through some people. I know that. That is why I say, please don't use your real names when you're commenting here. So don't use your real names while creating Gmail accounts. Hide your identity. Now, its third news story, TPLF federal government relations. TPLF issued a statement last night. The statement came after the conclusion of talks between TPLF and federal government, mediated by African Union, US, EU, IGAD, etc. TPLF did not make any progress at the talks in Addis Ababa. That is what I said when I did a video a few hours ago. I told you about TPLF's growing isolation. TPLF was hoping that European, American diplomats would support TPLF's position about the presence of Eritrean military Amhara forces in Tigray, about the determination of status of Raya and Volkayat, etc. But EU, US remained silent. TPLF is now frustrated. It issued a statement last night, and the statement clearly mentions that there is now distancing, a gulf of widening between TPLF and the federal government. TPLF used the term erosion of trust between Tigray and federal government. This is the first time that we have heard this term used by TPLF since the signing of Pretoria deal. Because in statements last year and this year after Pretoria, both the parties, federal government, TPLF, showed the resolve to build trust. But now TPLF says there is lack of trust, deficit of trust. Trust is eroding between TPLF and federal government. So these are some serious developments. It means that US, EU, AU led negotiations, AU led meeting in Addis Ababa did not produce any results. APLF is frustrated, but it does not have lots of options. It cannot wage war on Addis Ababa, cannot wage war on Asmara, it cannot wage war on Fano. Right now, TPLF is focused on rehabilitation, reconstruction. That is what the people of Tigray need. I'll do a video tomorrow because US intelligence community issued a threat assessment about Ethiopia. That I'll address tomorrow. My life says, Sajid, believe it or not, Abi spends a lot of time watching political shows. Samson says, what is your take on the position of the despotic Eritrean regime in the Addis Ababa, on the Addis Ababa mediation? Well, Eritrea is happy that its narrative is being accepted by not just Americans and European diplomats, but by federal government of Ethiopia as well, because it is being attributed to Ridwan Hussein that he said at the meeting in Addis Ababa that Eritrea military was only deployed to those areas which were granted to Eritrea by the Boundary Commission of 2002. It means Ridwan spoke in support of Eritrean government. So Eritrean government happy that TPLF is isolated. No one supporting TPLF now regarding TPLF's claim about the presence of Eritrean military in Tigray. Sariya says, my life, that's why you should never insult the Prime Minister. He's implying that PM is watching the show. Well, whether PM is watching the show or not, I think criticism should be constructive. You have every right to call into question, PM Abi's moves. I criticize him all day. But I don't insult him. I don't insult anyone. I don't insult Fano, Ola, TPLF, Eritrea, Saas, Worki, Abi, Hassan Sheikh. I don't insult anyone. I criticize them. That's what my job is. I analyze their moves. Uh, and I try to explain their moves. So no problem if your criticism is constructive. Don't be scared. But there is no point in just writing hateful comments against anyone. Sajid, would you feel safe to be in Ethiopia? No, I will never feel safe in Ethiopia. I know that if I visit Ethiopia, I'll be arrested. So if I visit Asmara, I'll be arrested, definitely. Uh, I'm very clear about that. Problem is that government does not want to see anyone in Ethiopia who can criticize the government. Criticism is constructive in some cases, but government does not want to tolerate dissent. Same is happening in Eritrea as well. Eritrean Pearl of Red Sea says, can we say there is zero chance of reconciliation between Abiy and Isas? Abiy and Isas relations can improve, but I've been saying there won't be any strategic long-term partnership between Ethiopia and Eritrea as long as Abiy and Isas are in power. One will have to go, then new leader will take office either in Ethiopia or in Eritrea, and then things might change. Now, Abiy is not reliable for Isas. Yes, they might meet, they might talk. There could be a working relationship between them, but you won't see any strategic long-term partnership between the two leaders. I think. Sub-Sahara says Ethiopia should separate into small countries for peace among them. One thing which I want to mention here regarding your proposal, I did a video, I remember, in 2021 about Ethiopia, about likelihood of Ethiopia disintegrating. Back then I said, when Tigray forces were in Amhara far region, back then I said that Ethiopia was not going to disintegrate. Since 2021, I've been hearing such speculations. No one, no one in the world, in the region, is in support of Ethiopia disintegrating. Because if Ethiopia disintegrates, just Ethiopia won't disintegrate. You'll see its impact in the wider region too, in Africa too. There are movements in other countries too, which want to establish independent states. How will those countries be able to stop those movements then? So disintegration of Ethiopia will have a wider regional impact. That is why no one in the region, no one in Africa wants Ethiopia to disintegrate. And keeping in view the conflict in the Red Sea, uh, Western players, America, don't want any big conflict in the Red Sea, close to Red Sea. Why? Because already Americans, Europeans are fighting against Houthis. Iran is involved there too. A new conflict between Ethiopia and Somalia, Ethiopia and Eritrea would be deadly. Deadly for this region. Already we're seeing that Russia-Ukraine war still ongoing. Gaza, Israel clash is still ongoing. Houthis are asserting themselves. So, in this situation, a new war in the Horn of Africa isn't acceptable for international community. That is why Americans are very proactive. They want to de-escalate between Ethiopia and Somalia, Ethiopian Eritrea. They don't want any new war in this region. Unimuzika says, Sajid, now even the US is now having to play nice with Eritrea. Yeah, to some extent you can say that. Sajid, don't you think the whole political landscape of the Horn would have changed had Abiy and Isas defeated TDF? Well, they weakened TDF and TPLF a lot. TPLF and TDF are no more regional players in the Horn of Africa, not even national level players. But it did not shape or change the Horn of Africa's politics. If US wanted peace in the region, they would have removed Isaias, as if they did not try. They've been trying to remove him, they could not. Now they have realized that Isaias' reach is regional. Eritrea is a key regional player, stable than other countries. Eritrea looks stable because other countries are destabilized. So it is difficult for the US to remove Isaias. Ideally, US would like to have a pro-US setup in Asmara. Halawe Haji says, Hi Sajid, PM Abiy is starting dereligionization of Ethiopia. Azan is disturbing the people, and Orthodox both are not. His aim is to forcefully assimilate. Basically, you're saying that he is promoting prosperity gospel. He's against Muslims, Orthodox Christians. Well, his call for ban or some restrictions on the use of loudspeakers by Muslims and Christians made sense to me. Government should impose some restrictions on the use of loudspeaker by religious groups. It does not mean that he wants to promote prosperity gospel. Though Orthodox Church accuses the government of the Prime Minister of Ethiopia that PM Abiy is backing other religious denominations. But still, I think what he said was an administrative thing. I don't see any bad intention of the Prime Minister. Uh, it should happen, by the way. I think in Muslim countries to simultaneously Adhan is uh, different mosques at the same time make call for prayer, and sometimes you don't understand what they are saying. So yes, there should be some restrictions. If there are children, there are hospitals in the neighborhood. Mosques should be careful. Churches as well. So I think it's an administrative decision, not a religious decision. I would say to weaken one denomination or to strengthen another religious group. Peace is the way, says war is coming. His screen name is Peace is the way, and he says war is coming. Elim says, I know you have said technically what happened in Ethiopia is not genocide. Would you say the same about Gaza? Well, it was Hamas which started this war. This episode of war began when Hamas fighters entered Israel controlled settlements. They attacked a concert, they killed people, they abducted foreigners. Israel is a stronger party in this conflict, stronger than Hamas. It is bound to inflict more losses on Hamas than vice versa. I wouldn't say that a genocide is being committed in Gaza. Uh, Perhaps genocide is not the right word. But the way Americans are vetoing resolutions for ceasefire shows that international community has double standards. It's not that the international community is very uh, keen for human rights to be respected across the world. No. Call for respect of human rights is selective for global powers. They want their interests to be protected, uh, keeping regard for fundamental rights aside, I think. It's 42 minutes have passed. I think we should end this live chat session. It was good to be with you. We covered three topics. I tried to speak in detail about these three topics. Thank you for joining the live chat session. See you tomorrow. Stay blessed. If there are any important updates which I'm missing about Ethiopia, Eritrea, Somalia, do uh, contact me through email sajid67200@gmail.com. We, all of us together, should make it possible that Horn of Africa is covered in an impartial manner on my views on news. Thank you for watching.